Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making a wooden porch sign using Teckwrap Crafts reflective adhesive vinyl. This vinyl is so cool. On its own, it looks like regular adhesive vinyl. There's a lot of pretty colors, but once you flash a light on it, the light will change the look of the vinyl. Here's some of the colors I have, and I'll put a picture on the screen of their color options. It shows the reflective color on the bottom. This would be an awesome project for a car decal, a window decal, a Halloween project. I saw on Teckwrap Crafts page someone made a stained glass sign with it. Here's what it looks like with my phone flashlight. It is just so awesome. I can't wait for you to see my final product of my wood sign. I will show that at the end. I will also have a link for this vinyl down in my description box. I'm going to be making a fall wood sign, and I'm going to put it on my front porch. This is a really good size. It's 48 inches tall and 9.5 inches wide. I found this at Hobby Lobby. It was 40% off and it came out to around $9, which I feel like is such a good deal. Also, have you seen at Hobby Lobby that some of the same items can be priced differently? So I always like to look through it and make sure I have the one with the best price. I'm going to be using apple barrel paint. I find it at Walmart and is my favorite acrylic paint. I've never tried this outside, but it does say for outdoor use, so let's hope it works well. For wood signs or wood planks like these, I like to use a paint roller. It just goes on so much smoother and it's quicker than a paintbrush. I thought I had clicked record on my camera and I didn't, so this is a view from my phone. Once the first coat of paint dried, I went in and did a second coat. The nice thing about this paint is it dries super quickly, so I didn't have to wait for too long. I found it easier to prop this up outside and paint the sides. I left the back blank just in case I want to put something else on the back, maybe like for Christmas. Since this is white, it needed a third coat. I probably could have done a fourth, but I think it was good enough. Once that dried, I put polyacrylic on top. I always recommend this because it not only seals the paint, but the vinyl will stick so much better to it. And once the vinyl's on it, I don't go in and put any sealant over it. I've actually tried that in the past and the vinyl has come up. Here's the vinyl colors I'm going to be using. So pretty for fall. It's red, orange, and rainbow yellow. I'm in Cricut Design Space now. I'm going to upload my design that I found. I'm just going to ungroup everything. For me, sometimes I find it easier to just ungroup all the layers when I'm trying to work with them. There's a lot of pieces for the pumpkin, so what I'm actually going to do for that is drag my mouse over this whole thing. Makes it a lot easier to select it all, and I'm just going to go and attach it. I'm not going to group it together because I want all those little pieces attached. Since it's ungrouped, each piece is separate, and I want to delete some things, so I just find that a lot easier. I just don't want these little pieces in here, so I'm going to go in and delete them. I'm actually going to go into the layers panel. I find that quicker sometimes to just delete it all. Okay, so these are all the pieces that I want for my wood board. I think I'll figure out my colors next, then I'll size it. I want these two oranges to be the same orange color, so I'm just going to go up here and I'll switch it to the pumpkin one. For the fall letters, I want it to be red, so I'll just switch it to a red color. And for the leaves, I want those to be yellow. I'm going to go to my color sync. I find that a lot faster, and I'm just going to grab these 3 black letters and bring it into the red. Then I'll grab my leaf and drag it all the way down to the yellow. Now I'm ready to size it. I'm going to grab a square. I'm just going to make it the size of my board, which is 5 inches by 48 inches. I'll set this as a guide, and that will prevent it from going over to the Make It screen. Now I want to size this all together. I'm going to grab my mouse and highlight over this entire thing. You can see all the layers in the layers panel are selected. I could hit group or I could just drag it over. Now I'm just going to make this fit inside the rectangle. Okay, I had the guide sized wrong, so it's fixed now, and there is some extra space on the top and bottom, so I might rearrange this a little bit once I start making it, but I think that looks great. Now I'm ready to click Make. Since the hello is long, it's almost 24 inches wide, I'm going to use my 12 by 24 inch mat. Now, I'm just going to use it for all three, even though this would work on a 12 by 12 mat. For the cut setting, I'm going to select vinyl, and I'm also going to change the pressure to more because it's just a little bit thicker than regular vinyl. Normally, I put my whole roll of vinyl on the mat. I find it easier than cutting it down, but I thought it had a protective film over it. I didn't even check, I just assumed it did. So that's why I'm cutting it down here to fit the design. However, it did not have a protective film, but I think the silver one of the colors did. So I would always just check with Teckwrap vinyl to make sure it doesn't have that film over it. I needed about 5 inches of the yellow. I grabbed my paper cutter. It's really nice because it cuts it straight and because you can take that ruler out and measure out exactly 5 inches. And for the red, I needed 13 inches. So this is only 12 inches, but I just went a little bit past that. It'll cut the red vinyl first, then move on to the orange, then the yellow. Also, I'm curious, what are you guys making for fall with the Cricut machine? Is there anything that's like trending right now or anything exciting that you're making? Now that the Cricut's done cutting, I go out and weed the vinyl. The orange pumpkins I struggled with a little bit. They had some fine details in it, so I just recommend doing a test cut before you cut this vinyl. First, I just placed all of my pieces on my wooden board. For the fall letters, I decided to center it between the pumpkin and the end of the board. However, I kind of wish I centered the fall letters right directly in the center of the board. Once it's done, you can look at it and see what you think. To apply the vinyl, I'm going to use the hinge method. To do this, I add my transfer tape on top. I always like to make sure that I'm able to peel up my vinyl onto the transfer tape because it's easier to remove the backing, but when using the hinge method, you have to remove the front of the transfer tape. With the hinge method, you can place it down, measure it exactly where you want it, so it's so nice. Once it's lined up, I place painter's tape directly in the center. Then I just pick one side. I start to remove the transfer tape, and you want that vinyl to pick up onto the transfer tape. Then I just cut the backing of the vinyl away, and now I just slowly place that vinyl and transfer tape down onto the board. I like to use the felt side of the squeegee. The felt just helps remove any bubbles in the vinyl. Then on the other side, I take the transfer tape and vinyl off of the backing, but this time I don't have to cut it at all. I can just pull it all the way away and remove that backing. Then I can just place it down on my board and squeegee it once again. Now I can just remove the transfer tape. Here I'm just measuring the hello because I want the letters centered with that. I also decided to make them each 2 inches apart. I'm going to follow the exact same process with the hinge method with all the letters. Since the letters are all about the same size, I use the same transfer sheet for each letter, which is really nice because it just saves on that transfer tape. Now I'm ready to add my pumpkins and my leaves. I decided to put the pumpkins towards the top of the board. I just felt like it looked a lot better when the whole board was being used. Then I added my yellow leaf in the middle and also on the bottom. I felt like it looked a little bare, so I went back on my Cricut machine and cut out a few smaller leaves. Here's how the sign looks on my front porch. It is so pretty just on its own, but let's use my phone flashlight and see how it changes. When I turned the flashlight on, I was seriously amazed. It is so cool. My husband came out and looked at it and he was like shocked as well. The yellow color is the rainbow effect, and I would highly recommend the rainbow ones because that is just my favorite. It's so pretty. One thing I want to point out, there looks like little imperfections in the vinyl, like right here. That piece is because there is some wood underneath it that's not perfectly flat. Also, if you go back and look at my porch picture, there's some little smudges in the A and the L. That's from fingerprints. I did not clean it off before I filmed it, but watch here when I use my sweatshirt, it smooths it out. So it's nothing to do with the vinyl, it's all the fingerprints. I wanted to show you that here because I didn't want to refilm the porch. I did it last night and it's the morning now, and I just want to get this video posted. Here's one more look at the vinyl. It is so cool. I would love to hear what you think about it, what you would make with it. I always love hearing ideas, and here's one final look of it on my porch. I would love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel, and I hope you have a great day.